What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm back once again with another one. So look, y'all, I've been hearing rave reviews about the Mara Brock Akil created show called Forever on Netflix, right? Like every time I'm at work, I get on social media, people are talking about this show, the characters, the writing, character development, so on and so forth. And I'm not surprised. Mara Brock Akil's pen game is phenomenal. I'm talking about her pen is outstanding. Seriously, she the Kendrick Lamar of writing TV shows, especially writing black women and black folks. She writes these characters very well. And that was shown like amazingly on Girlfriends. Girlfriends is probably one of the greatest shows, for real, greatest black TV shows I've ever seen in my life. Seriously. Some would say one of, not even just black shows, one of the greatest TV shows ever. I didn't realize it until I was coming up, when I was in my college years. As a kid, I liked the show. I would watch it passingly at times with my mom and my sister and all of that. But as a young boy, I was so into sports, and I still am heavily into sports and all of that. But I was so into the sports world and basketball and football. Like, I got to a point where I was just like, I'm done watching this type of stuff with my mom and my sister, and I'm through, you know? I'm going to watch my sports and all of that and watch it with my dad and all of those things. Then when I got to college, you know, you start watching TV shows and they become comfort shows for you. So again, Girlfriends was a staple of my childhood, and so I saw how great the show was in rewatching it. So I'm not surprised that Mara Brock Akil has created another dope show. But this video is not going to be about Mara Brock Akil or even the show Forever. This video is going to be about me giving flowers to an outstanding actor who I think is very underrated, very underappreciated. Black folks love him. We love the things that he does and the movies that he's in. But I think he should be revered by all individuals, not just black folks, for real. And the individual that I'm talking about is Mr. Sherwin David Harris, aka Wood Harris. Sherwin David, his real name is Sherwin, right? Wood Harris is a phenomenal actor, exceptional. And what I'm hearing about his role as the father, Eric, in Forever, I'm hearing great things. Now, again, I'm going to watch the show Forever. I have not watched the show yet. And some of y'all going to be like, man, how you going to give him his flowers and you haven't seen the show? And the reason why I'm giving him his flowers is that he deserves his flowers even without having this role. But what I'm hearing about this role is like the way he's playing a black father is, some people saying it's probably the greatest representation of a black father on a TV show that they've seen, or a miniseries and all that. One of the greatest representations of a black father that they've seen. So from my understanding, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, Forever is a romantic teen drama, right? And the show is about the joys and the heartbreaks of going through a first love. Something that I know very, very well. I know about that very well. You know what I mean? Dating your first love, first girlfriend, head over heels. I actually had a child with my first love at the age of 18 years old. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure this story would resonate in certain ways, not all the way through and through, but it would resonate in certain ways at certain points and so on and so forth when I watch it. But from what I'm hearing, man, the way Wood Harris navigates his son, like through the most transformative years of his life, his teenage years, I'm hearing it's like exemplary. You feel me? I'm hearing his portrayal like he's a black man who loves his wife. He not out here doing his wife dirty, being foul to her. He not just throwing her under the bus willy-nilly. He not disrespecting her. But at the same time, he letting her know when she needs correction. Hey, you're doing too much. You tripping, so on and so forth, right? But at the same time, he can like guide his son through his feelings, and he's understanding and aware of his son's feelings about a young woman that he's into. He's not dismissive of it, from my understanding, from what I'm hearing, right? You know, in the black community, man, when we talk to our fathers about women and our love for a woman, sometimes you have a lot of hardened fathers who dismiss how they were during their first years of love and their first love and so on and so forth. They only thinking about, them in adult years after they done been grown and all of that. Man, forget that girl, man. There's plenty of girls out here, man. Forget that girl. That girl ain't nothing. No, man. Not every young man doesn't need to hear they don't need to just hear forget that girl. That girl ain't nothing. No, I don't need to hear that. Coach me through my feelings when I'm having mixed emotions about a girl that I'm loving and I'm having trouble and so on and so forth. Give me real sound advice, not just forget that girl. There's plenty of other girls out here. No, I need coaching. I need you to understand where I'm coming from. I need you to be empathetic to me. And I need you to put yourself in my shoes when you were my age in dating. And a lot of black fathers sometimes don't do that. They just think about the now. They don't think about how they were when they were experiencing their first love and all of those things. You know what I mean? They only think about, hey man, let me just tell my son, get over this girl. There's more girls out here. No, right? And I'm hearing that Wood Harris is not that type of father that just dismisses his son's feelings about a young woman that he's into, his first love, and so on and so forth. And so I think that's a great representation to show on television. And Mara Brockett Kill, shout out to her for creating a character like this. But shout out to Wood Harris, because Wood Harris has to make this role come to life on screen. People, again, are talking, giving him the utmost praise. Like I'm talking about, he's getting praises to the heavens for how he portrayed this role. So I'm going to watch the show, and I'm going to give an analysis of the dad in the show and all of that. And as a black father myself, I'm a father of 2 children. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I know I'm 32 years old. Some might be shocked that I have a 14-year-old daughter, but I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. So as a father of 2, it's very interesting to see how the black fatherhood is shown in this show from Wood Harris. But again, Wood Harris is a phenomenal actor. I've been a fan. I became aware of Wood Harris when I watched Remember the Titans. I think Remember the Titans came out in 2000, and he played Julius Campbell. And I was enamored with his portrayal of this character and how he brought that character to life on screen. I remember reciting lines from the movie and always looking forward to when he popped up on screen, because Wood is an actor where when you see him on screen, he commands your attention at all times in any role he's playing. Because after I saw Remember the Titans is when, being around my older cousins. I had a cousin that played ball, went to play at West Virginia University his freshman year, played under Coach John Beeline, and then after my brother had his life taken from him in West Virginia, he saw that West Virginia wanted him to just be the rebound man and kick it out to the open shooter. He came and transferred to Toledo University to be closer to the University of Toledo to be closer to home after my brother was gunned down, right? But anyway, my cousin, he hooped. One of his favorite movies growing up was Above the Rim. And Wood Harris played a character by the name of Motah in Above the Rim, right? And I always I always laugh at that part when he in the car and he said, I'm a motherfucking soldier. You know what I'm saying? I'm a motherfucking soldier. It sounded like Kellen Winslow. Remember with Kellen Winslow? If y'all watch football, Kellen Winslow ass was going crazy. I'm a fucking soldier, man. And Wood Harris is like, I'm a motherfucking soldier. Know what I'm saying? And Marlon Wayans, who plays Boogaloo, was like, hey man, you need a damn hug. You need a goddamn hug. I always laugh at that part, right? When I'm talking about these roles, because he played in Above the Rim alongside Tupac as Motah, vicious, violent character. He played Ace Boogie in Paid in Full, one of my other favorite movies. He's the complete opposite of Motah, even though he's in the drug game and in Paid in Full, right? Complete opposite, mellow, chill, laid back, doesn't like too much attention to himself, soft-spoken a little bit, you know what I mean? Not ultra aggressive. Then we see he played Jimi Hendrix, right? To go from playing a crazy psychopathic character, aggressive character like Motown to playing Ace Boogie to then playing Jimi Hendrix. That shows Wood Harris's range as an actor. Phenomenal range, right? Then he plays Julius Campbell. Then, and Remember the Titans, he plays Julius Campbell. And then we see him play, years later, Lil Duke Evers, right? He plays Lil Duke in Creed. And Lil Duke, Jimi Hendrix, Julius Campbell, Motown, and Ace Boogie are completely different characters. Are what? 5 completely different characters, right? And Wood plays them so exceptionally well. It's like you buy whatever role he's in every time. And again, he a Chicago brother like me. He from the West Side though. Shout out to the West Side. I'm from the South Side of Chicago, right? But either way, man, we both inner city Chicago. We from the Chicago. We ain't from, we from an inner city Chicago that I think, because it's 2 Chicagos. It's 2 Chicagos. It's the Chicago that Vince Vaughn and them grew up in, and then it's the Chicago that me and Wood Harris and Derrick Rose and Anthony Davis and Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre and all. It's the Chicago that Tim Hardaway. That's the other Chicago that we all grew up in. It's 2 Chicagos. You know what I mean? And y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Wood, it's so funny, man, because I brought up some of these roles. And then I want to bring up the role, him playing Avon Barksdale on The Wire. My grandparents love The Wire. They love this show. And I would eventually fall in love with the show from watching it with them, right? So I had younger grandparents, for those who don't know, especially on my maternal side, my grandparents were younger. My grandmother is not even 70 years old yet. You feel me? So I would watch The Wire, and watching Wood as Avon Barksdale, one of my favorite characters all time. Like, the dialogue in that show was phenomenal, but the way Wood said these lines, like, I remember like certain lines, I'm just a gangster, I suppose. Or what I told you about playing all them goddamn away games. What I told you about playing them away games. Then it was a scene, right? And it's the characters of Avon Barksdale, who's the drug kingpin. And Wood was so cool in his role. He exuded like confidence and an aura and a swagger that was convincing that this man really got all the keys in the town. He got all the bricks. This man is not a man to be played with in real life. He looked like he was not a man to be trifled with. Even meeting Marlo in jail and the way his presence, you felt like, man, this dude is untouchable. Even behind the wall, he's still a king. And Wood brought that character to life. But I want to talk about one of my favorite scenes from Avon. And some people might think this is a very minor scene, but it spoke to the character of Avon Barksdale, and there was so much honor in this scene. Avon is the big dog. He has guys working under him. Cuddy, who was running the boxing gym, just got out of jail, so on and so forth. And then we have Slim Charles working under Avon. So Cuddy and Avon are working not Cuddy and Avon. Cuddy and Slim Charles are working under Avon Barksdale, who was played by Wood Harris. And then they went on a hit. Avon sent them on a hit. They didn't get the guy because Cuddy froze up. Cuddy couldn't take another man's life anymore. He's not that dude anymore. He's now giving his life to the youth, training kids to be boxers, right? So when they couldn't get the dude, Slim Charles takes the fall for it. Like, yo, boss, it's my fault. I couldn't run down on him. Cuddy was getting him. It's my fault. It's my fault. I don't know if he said the gun jammed or what, or he just said it was his fault. Cuddy then says, no, I'm going to own up to it. It was me. It was me. You feel me? Like, I was the one who couldn't carry it out. I couldn't deliver on the hit. I couldn't get the job done. So Avon says, man, all right, it's cool. But I'm surprised at you, man. He started talking to Cuddy. I'm surprised at you. Much ain't get past you back in the day, right? And so Cuddy said, man, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this. So Avon like, okay, well, we'll have you do this. We'll have you counting this or counting the books or whatever. We have you working with the drugs or something. And he like, you ain't here. Cuddy says, you ain't hearing me, boss. You ain't hearing me, Avon. I this ain't for me. This lifestyle ain't for me no more. I'm not a criminal. I'm not in the drug game. I'm not in street warfare. That's not for me no more, right? And usually a crime boss ain't letting a dude walk away from that. But he says, okay, man, you good, man. You good. It's all good. And at first I think Avon about to do something to him. Avon let him walk away. And let him walk away from the drug game completely. And then Cuddy goes, hey, man, he tells Avon he was the man back in his day. He was the man back in his day. And Avon responds, Avon is Wood Harris, as Wood Harris's character. Avon responds, he a man today. He a man today. That shit spoke so much volumes to me. I'm sorry I went on this long soliloquy, but the way he delivered that line, like he a man today. He a man today. He's still a man. He told me he was man enough to tell me, I'm not doing this. I'm walking away from the drug game. I don't care what the consequences are. I'm not doing this anymore. I have a different life. My life is dedicated to saving these kids and teaching them how to box. And that was real, but Wood Harris, man, this portrayal of Avon Barksdale is so phenomenal, right? And then not even just that. Wood Harris's portrayal of Spencer Haywood in the HBO series Winning Time. What? Like, yo, man, Wood is the dude, man. He is the dude. Seriously, like all the way, he is the guy, man. And it's so funny. It's something about Wood when he's delivering lines. It always feels like he's just stating his thoughts as they come to him. It feels like it's a natural conversation on screen. You know, some actors, you can tell like, oh, these are just lines they're delivering. They're delivering lines for a movie. This is a movie role. The patience that Wood has in delivering lines is like he's getting them out as like he's stating his own thoughts as he's talking. You feel me? So it feels like a natural conversation whenever he's on screen talking. I'm like, man, this Wood is a bad motherfucker, man. Shout out to Chicago, Illinois. My Chicago brother, for real, for real. I don't think he gets enough respect for his acting chops. Even in the Shooting Stars movie about LeBron James' life, he played Drew Joyce II, LeBron James' childhood coach. And the way he delivered that role, and Wood is just always doing a great job, man. And shout out to Wood Harris's brother, Steve Harris, who people know as what? Charles McCarter was his name in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. A lot of people don't know that Wood Harris and Steve Harris are brothers. His brother is Charles from Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the one she pushed in a damn tub and all of that, right? That's his big brother. You know, a lot of people don't know that. But shout out to them Chicago brothers, man. But I'm gonna check out the show forever because people are raving about it, and I believe y'all, because it feels like the way people are talking about his role, his portrayal as the father in this show, it feels like the discourse black folks were having around Sinners. Not we having the same conversations, but you know what I mean. Like it's a general consensus, like, hey man, this was knocked out of the park. Sinners was a knock out of the park, and y'all like Wood Harris was a knock out of the park, you know, when he played the father Eric in the movie Forever. I mean, the TV series Forever. And I believe y'all, man. But I just want to say that Wood is a phenomenal actor. His range is outstanding. He can be a dope dealer. He could be a boxing coach. He could be Jimi Hendrix. He could be, you know what I mean? He could be a ruthless psychopath. He could be a basketball player. He could be a loving father. He could be a football player. He could be a guy trying to figure out his life. He could be a mentor. He could be so many different things, and he's always believable in it. Never does he come across as, well, this feels disingenuous. This doesn't feel authentic. He feels authentic in everything he's doing. Everything, man. And maybe I'm not using the correct terms because I'm not well versed in the acting, like in certain terminology as it pertains to acting. But all I know is he's a phenomenal actor. He does a fine job in everything. He's like exemplary job. And I think if he was in one of these white dramas and these white TV shows that HBO be having, on a regular, one of the big shows, that he would really get the praise he naturally deserves. Or even, I think, if he was in a movie like Sinners and people saw him in there, like, I think he would have did a phenomenal job. A stand-up job, because Sinners is really critically acclaimed. It's not even just the white movies, but if he gets into a Ryan Coogler film, because Ryan has proven to be the money man. He's proven to be a star in Hollywood, and Ryan might be the new kingmaker as it pertains to actors, but Wood always has been a king for a while, man. He's a seasoned actor, man. And yeah, he deserves all of his flowers and all of his props for the roles that he's brought to life. Roles that we all love. Look, I don't know nobody who watched The Wire that did not love Avon Barksdale. I hated Stringer Bell's ass, and I made a video about my hate for Stringer Bell because he was a snake, he was a sucker, he was a bitch-made, disloyal, fool-ass punk. Shout out to Denzel Washington in Training Day. Killed that soliloquy, that rant, or would that be a soliloquy or a monologue? That's not a monologue. He was talking to somebody. So he was talking to Jake and the people in the jungles in California, right? But anyway, man, yeah. So if you're not familiar with Wood Harris's game, get familiar with his acting chops, and he is somebody that if he's in a movie, you should go see it. In my opinion, if he's in a movie, you should go check out a series of movies. You should check it out, cause he gonna always put on a masterclass performance. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out, y'all. Peace.